vertical destination on which elements and how you want to arrange them on screen. Of course, any layout created in portrait automatically adapts to landscape orientation, so it doesn't matter where you create your custom layout, everything will just be working out of the box. Let's move on to audio and visual quality. We've enabled local recordings on iOS browsers as well. Before, you could only record locally if you were on a desktop or if you were using our iOS app. Now, just pick a browser on your iPhone and you'll be able to record crisp, locally recorded footage. We've also made some optimizations to our video quality, especially when you're sharing videos on screen with you. But there's much more coming up, so stay tuned for more. And for those of you who would really like to monitor which resolution their broadcast is currently set to, we introduced a resolution indicator that appears on stage with you. You can toggle it on or off depending on your preference, but this is a clear way for you to always keep an eye on which resolution you're streaming to. We have engagement and interaction. Some of you may have already been using this feature for a while, but this is one of my favorite ones from this update, and that's chat overlay. Chat overlay is a way to bring your audience on screen with you by taking all the comments that you receive from your connected destinations and this
and my expertise is in gaining fluency. But that doesn't mean those skills came naturally to me, not in my second language and not in English. Have you ever thought, I'm just too shy to speak with confidence, or I can never be confident like somebody else? Or maybe you've listened to someone else and thought, oh, she speaks so fast, she's so fluent, why can't I do that? Or if I slow down, I'll sound less fluent. My coworkers will be bored. I have to speak faster. They must think I'm foolish or silly for forgetting the word I wanted to use and getting stuck. It was so simple. I have had all of those thoughts in my second language and in English. But then I discovered that all of those beliefs, those things I was telling myself, were myths. A myth is a false belief. When I discovered what is true, it completely changed my mindset. It changed my approach to learning, my motivation to practice, and my ability to make progress in my speaking. Most importantly, it gave me confidence, the confidence to keep going. This is true in my second language and in my native language, English, as well. In this lesson today, I want to help you become a confident English speaker by addressing what is myth versus reality and giving you practical action steps you can take to make progress in your English confidence and fluency. But quickly, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Anne-Marie, an English confidence and fluency coach. Everything I do is designed to help you get the confidence you want for your life and work in English. If you'd love to get more free resources and lessons from me, including years of my weekly Confident English lessons, you can find them all at my Speak Confident English website. While you're there, make sure you download my in-depth How to Get the Confidence to Say What You Want training. This is a step-by-step training where I share with you my #1 strategy for fluency and confidence building. Now, for this lesson today, there are 5 common myths about fluency and confidence that I want to address, and I want to highlight what is true so that you can make progress and move forward. Because when we believe in myths, false beliefs, they stop us from making progress, and it doesn't have to be that way. So by understanding what is true and having practical action steps, you can move forward. Here are the 5 myths we're going to talk about today. #1, some people are naturally confident speakers. #2, fluent English is always fast English. #3, confident speakers never need to seek clarification. #4, confident speakers never experience setbacks, and they don't really make mistakes. And #5, you either have confidence or you don't. So myth #1, some people are naturally confident speakers. This is a myth I believed for years because my husband is an extrovert who seems to feel totally comfortable speaking with anyone, and he always appears confident. This is true in English and in his second language. It used to make me so jealous, but it doesn't anymore. Like me, you might believe that some people, like extroverts, are naturally confident when they speak because of some of their personality traits. Extroverts are often described as individuals who are outgoing, energetic, and conversational. And because of that myth, there might be another myth, which is that introverts can't be confident when they're speaking with others. Introverts are often associated with personality traits such as being shy, reserved, and withdrawn. But that isn't always the case. There are plenty of introverts who love being around people and feel very comfortable in some contexts. The difference is introverts prefer to think before they speak, whereas extroverts think by speaking out loud. Furthermore, the reality is introverts can absolutely be fully confident, fully fluent, and speak with exceptional clarity in any situation. I know that's true because I am highly shy and highly introverted, and I work with many students from around the world who similarly, in their native and non-native languages, are shy and introverted, and yet they develop the same skills I want to help you develop in having clarity, fluency, and confidence. So here's a practical approach to help you speak with confidence no matter what the situation might be. Use your natural skills as an introvert to your advantage. Now, you might not be an introvert in your native language. That might not be your true personality. However, you might be experiencing some of that in English due to anxiety when you want to speak. And the advice that I'm going to share, it applies in both contexts. The natural ability here is to take advantage of thinking before you speak. By giving yourself time or taking advantage of the time you have, you're able to organize your thoughts and be more prepared to share them with others, to share them with confidence. This is a skill used by all powerful public speakers, including many who are introverts. Now, here's how you can practice this in real life. When you can, and if you can, always take time to prepare or organize your thoughts in advance. What this means is taking time to think through whatever discussion you're going to have, maybe put down some notes on a piece of paper and talk through them out loud. Practice saying them out loud so that you get comfortable with your voice and with the words that you're going to use. Doing this in advance means you're able to express those thoughts and organize them without judgment from anyone else. You have that time to think before you speak. This is helpful, for example, if you're preparing for a job interview or if you are going to a meeting of some kind and you know what the topic of discussion will be in advance, whether it's a business meeting, a volunteer meeting, or a book club discussion. Now, if it's in the middle of a conversation, you can also pause briefly in order to take advantage of those little moments in time to organize your next thought. Don't try to plan the next 20 minutes of what you want to say. Just plan the next thought. And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This approach encourages you to embrace little pauses while you speak, moments that allow you to breathe, moments that allow you to organize that next idea, and it takes the pressure off. Now, if you are worried that using a pause while you speak so that you have that time to think, you can use a phrase to buy yourself some time. For example, just give me a moment to think. Or can you come back to me in a moment? I just need a moment to think about this. Right now, you might be thinking two things. Number one, Anne-Marie, we don't always have time to prepare. And number two, I'm not sure pauses are going to help me. They're going to make me speak too slowly. I'm going to talk about both of those. Number one, you're right. We don't always have time to prepare, but we have more opportunities than you think. And when you practice speaking regularly, including moments when you are simply practicing to prepare, it helps you become a better spontaneous speaker as well. I have a particular method that I love to use with my students to help them in this process so that they're able to gain increased confidence and fluency in their speaking. If you'd love to get that in-depth training, you can find it at my Speak Confident English website. It's called How to Get the Confidence to Say What You Want in English. I'll share a link to it down below this video. And now let's talk about that second fear, that pauses are going to make you sound slow. This brings me to myth number 2. Fluent speakers are always fast speakers. Without a doubt, this is a common misconception. And unfortunately, it's perpetuated by English-speaking TV shows and sitcoms where someone might speak unnaturally fast for dramatic or comedic effect. And yes, there are many English speakers who speak extremely fast. That doesn't make them good communicators. In fact, they may speak so quickly that fellow native English speakers don't really understand everything they say. Let me say all of that again. Yes, some English speakers do speak really fast, but that doesn't make them effective communicators. In fact, some other native English speakers might not understand anything that they say. Ooh, that's really hard for me to do. And did it sound clear, confident, and fluent to you? It definitely sounded fast. But was it good communication? No. The reality is, fluency is about smooth, natural, clear communication with you in control. When I was speaking super fast just a moment ago, I did not feel like I was in control. My brain was chaotic, and I knew that I was probably making some mistakes while I was speaking, but I couldn't catch them and I couldn't prevent them because I wasn't giving myself any time to organize my thoughts and be careful about what I wanted to say. Again, fluency is about smooth, natural, clear communication with you in control. So, what is some practical advice you can follow to make progress in this area? Aim for clarity over speed when you speak. As I demonstrated, speaking quickly isn't the same as speaking clearly. To improve your clarity and overall fluency, aim to use little pauses while you're speaking. If you listen to me carefully, you'll notice I use them quite a bit. I use them in between sentences. If I have a long sentence, I might use them in between groups of words or a single thought. I'll also use them before and after words that I really want to highlight. Every time I make one of those pauses, it's giving me a few things. It's giving me time to breathe, which is super important. It also helps to maintain a sense of calm so I think more clearly. It allows me to think briefly about the next thing that I want to say, whether it's the right word, the right grammar structure, or the right pronunciation. This is true in my native language and in my second language. Lastly, it brings clarity to my speech. It is smooth, it's natural sounding, and it's clear for you to understand. That's important. If you and I are going to have a conversation, or if I want to share something important with you in this lesson, I need to make sure that my speech is easy for others to understand. If I speak too fast all the time, you're going to miss all of the important details. I'm not going to be able to breathe, and I'm going to lose my focus very quickly. I'll also make a ton of mistakes. Now, if you're not sure about this, I've got a challenge for you. I also want you to go watch a skilled public speaker. It could be someone you admire on a podcast or a TED Talk speaker. And once again, you'll notice that skilled communicators embrace using these pauses. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how to use the power of the pause, I've got a lesson for you titled Speak So Others Listen. And if you'd love to learn and practice using pauses with me, definitely check out my Fluency School program. Myth number 3 is confident speakers never seek clarification. In fact, you might worry that by asking others to clarify what they've said, it's showing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Pod community. I'm Natasha, and in today's episode, we're going to dive into improving your English listening and speaking skills. Before we get started, let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you ever felt like you understand English well when reading, but when it comes to speaking, you feel unsure? Do you sometimes struggle to keep up with fast conversations or find it difficult to express to any of these questions? This episode is for you. In today's episode, we're going to talk about real-life situations that will help you improve not only your listening skills, but also your speaking confidence. You'll hear personal stories and real examples that will show you how to use English in everyday life. By listening to these stories, you'll start picking up important phrases, expressions, and tricks for understanding native speakers more easily. Let's start with a story about Tom, who recently went on a business trip to another country. Tom's job involves meeting clients, so he had to communicate in English every day. At first, he felt nervous. The English spoken at work wasn't the same as what he learned in school. It was faster, with a lot of idiomatic expressions that Tom wasn't familiar with. But after a few days, Tom realized something. He didn't need to understand every single word. What mattered most was getting the main idea of what was being said. Tom shared with me that one time, his colleague Sarah told him, "Don't worry about the details, just focus on the big picture." At first, Tom didn't fully understand what Sarah meant. He realized that when you focus on the overall meaning instead of stressing about each word, you can communicate much more easily. This brings me to another story about Maria. She's a student who moved to an English-speaking country for college. At first, Maria found it hard to participate in group discussions. Everyone spoke so quickly, and sometimes they used slang words that Maria wasn't used to. But she didn't give up. Maria started listening to podcasts and watching movies in English. One day, while chatting with a classmate about a movie they both had seen, Maria surprised herself by using a phrase she had learned from a podcast. Her classmate smiled and said, "Wow, Maria, your English is really improving." This made Maria feel more confident, and it showed her that practicing in real-life situations, like casual conversations, helps her become more fluent. Now let's think about how we can practice these skills. You don't have to go on a business trip or move to another country to get better at English. Everyday conversations, whether in person, online, or even through podcasts like this one, can make a huge difference. I remember a time when I had to give a presentation in English. At first, I was worried about making mistakes, but then I realized the audience didn't care about my grammar mistakes. What they cared about was the message I was trying to share. So, I focused on speaking clearly, expressing my ideas, and using the vocabulary I was most comfortable with. By doing this, I felt more confident and got my message across effectively. Do you know what? You can do the same. In your daily life, start practicing English by talking to your friends, family, or even strangers. The more you speak, the better you'll get. You don't have to worry about making mistakes because that's how you learn. Now, let's talk about another situation.
So naintindihan guys, klaro ba? Klaro tayo sa cloud and sa crosswalk. Napakasimple lang ng task natin. Crosswalk lang, wala nang iba. Hindi na yung kailangan intindihin yung mga road o yung mga any errors na yan. Then submit na pag wala. Hindi to crosswalk. Kahit wala, focus lang tayo sa crosswalk. Okay? And ito, crosswalk din to, di ba? So yun, paano natin yan naayusin? Pwede nating i-hide yung intersection. Tapos, saka tayo mag-drawing ng crosswalk. Yan. So, balik natin yung intersection, then all goods na yan, di ba? Same dito. Parang okay naman na yung shape na ito. So, wag nyo na siyang galawin, guys. Okay lang din ang shape, wag nang galawin. Yan, napakasimple lang ng task natin. Crosswalk lang, wala nang iba. Hindi na yung kailangan intindihin yung mga road or yung mga any errors na yan. Then, submit na pag wala ng crosswalk. Meron pa pala. Ito, hindi to crosswalk ha, bump yan. Okay? Yung topology na yan. Ignore nyo yan ha. Hayaan nyo siya dyan. Focus lang tayo sa crosswalk. Nasa 14,000 din tong tab na to. Ay, yung task na to. Tapos yun, meron dito mga fake crosswalk. Hindi yan crosswalk ha. Yan. Save lang siya dito sa example na isa-send ko rin later. Okay? Naintindihan ba guys sa crosswalk? Yan. Tapos yung kapitbahay ko, kung sino man, pakuha na lang nito, ha? Yan. Same lang siya dito sa example na
Emma, one of my friends, had been practicing her listening skills for a while. She listened to English songs, watched English TV shows, and even joined online conversations. One day, Emma told me about an interesting experience she had while volunteering. She was talking to an English speaker for the first time, and she felt really nervous. But instead of worrying about her mistakes, Emma focused on keeping the conversation flowing. She used the phrases she knew and didn't hesitate to ask for clarification when she didn't understand something. By doing this, she ended up having a great conversation that helped her build both her speaking and listening skills. All right, let's dive deeper into this and explore even more examples that will help you feel confident in both listening and speaking in English. Let's take a look at Daniel's story. He works in a busy office where the team speaks English all the time. At first, Daniel struggled to understand everything his colleagues said because they spoke fast, used idioms, and sometimes even had different accents. But one day after a team meeting, Daniel realized something important. He wasn't going to get better just by listening passively. He needed to be active in the conversations. So Daniel decided to take small steps. He began to ask questions whenever he didn't understand something. Instead of feeling embarrassed, he started saying, "Sorry, could you explain that again? I didn't quite catch it." You know what? His colleagues were happy to help, and this not only improved his listening skills, but also made him more comfortable speaking in English. Daniel realized that by being active in conversations, he wasn't just improving his listening, but also practicing his speaking. Then there's Lily, a young woman who moved to an English-speaking city for her dream job. The only problem? Her English wasn't as strong as she hoped. In the beginning, Lily was too shy to speak up during meetings. She was afraid of making mistakes, so she would just listen quietly. But after a few weeks, Lily noticed that her colleagues would often repeat themselves or slow down when they spoke to her. She felt bad about it because she thought they were treating her like she couldn't understand. One day, her colleague Peter noticed this and gave her a piece of advice she'll never forget. "Lily, don't be afraid to speak up, even if it's not perfect. The more you speak, the faster you'll learn." Taking Peter's advice to heart, Lily decided to start speaking more during meetings. The next time the team discussed a project, she raised her hand and made her point. To her surprise, her colleagues not only understood her but also appreciated her input. Over time, Lily became more confident in her speaking, and her listening improved as well because she was no longer afraid to ask for clarification when needed. In each of these stories, whether it's Daniel at work, Lily in her new job, or even Maria trying to get better at university, there's a common thread. They all had to take that first step to speak, even if they felt unsure. This is an important lesson for you too. You might feel nervous, but the more you speak, the better you'll get. And that's how you'll start improving your listening as well. When you speak more, you'll be able to understand more, because you'll be getting used to the rhythm and flow of the language. Now let me tell you about a personal experience of mine. Not too long ago, I went on a trip to a new country, and I had to speak English every day. I had been learning English for a long time, but when I found myself in real-life situations, I realized there were many things I didn't know. One day I was at a cafe and I tried to order a coffee. The barista asked me a question that I didn't quite understand at first. Instead of panicking, I smiled and said, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" He did, but this time he spoke a little slower and more clearly. I understood perfectly. After that, I was able to practice my English in many other situations, from ordering food to asking for directions, all because I wasn't afraid to ask for help. One of the best things about real-life conversations is that they're not just about learning vocabulary or grammar. They're about learning how people actually speak. For example, think about the word gonna. It's not formal English, but it's a word you'll hear often in conversations. Native speakers use it all the time in informal situations, like I'm gonna go to the store instead of I am going to the store. Learning these everyday expressions can really help you sound more natural when you speak. Now let's talk about something that often confuses many learners: the difference between formal and informal English. In your everyday life, you might encounter both situations. For example, let's say you're emailing a boss or teacher. You might say, I would appreciate your response at your earliest convenience. But when you're texting a friend, you might just say, hey, can you get back to me when you can? Both ways are correct, but they're used in different contexts. The more you practice, the better you'll understand when and how to use these different forms of English. Another helpful way to improve both listening and speaking is to watch videos in English and try to repeat what the speakers say. This technique is called shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speak and repeat what they say, trying to match their speed and pronunciation. For example, you could watch an English TV show or a video on YouTube and repeat what the characters say right after they say it. This will help you improve your pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. I remember the first time I tried shadowing. I watched a video where a woman was explaining a recipe in English. I repeated her words, trying to match her voice tone and speed. It felt a bit strange at first, but after a few weeks I noticed that I was speaking more smoothly and with more confidence. Shadowing is a simple but powerful technique that anyone can use to improve their skills. Now, I want to share something that's very important: making mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning a language. You'll probably make mistakes while speaking, but that's okay. I've made plenty of mistakes myself. In fact, I still make mistakes sometimes, but every mistake is a chance to learn. So, don't be afraid of making them. Instead, embrace them. When you make a mistake, try to correct it and learn from it. It's all part of the process, and it's how you'll improve your English over time. As we continue to explore how real-life situations can improve your English, I want you to think about your own experiences. Have you ever had a conversation where you felt nervous, but afterwards you were proud of yourself for speaking English? Think about how that moment helped you grow. Every time you speak English, even if it's just a small conversation, you're getting better. And it's through these little moments that you'll gain the confidence to speak more fluently and understand English more easily. Let's dive even deeper into how we can use real-life experiences to improve your English listening and speaking skills. We're going to talk about more personal stories and situations where you can relate and learn from. This will give you a solid understanding of how you can apply your English in different situations. Remember that as you improve your English, it's important to be patient with yourself. There's no need to rush. Learning English is a journey, and every small step brings you closer to fluency. When you look back at your progress, you'll see just how far you've come. Now, let's explore how everyday life situations can be your best English. Let me start by telling you about my friend Emma. Emma has been living in an English-speaking country for a couple of years now. She moved there for her job, and like many learners, she was excited but also nervous. Her biggest struggle was speaking at work. Emma works in customer service, which means she talks to many customers throughout the day. At first, she would get really anxious whenever she had to speak on the phone. She was afraid she would make a mistake or not understand the customer well, but Emma decided to face her fears head-on. One day, a situation came up that tested her English skills in a big way. She received a call from a very upset customer who was speaking quickly. Emma could feel the pressure, but she knew she couldn't avoid the situation. She took a deep breath and, instead of panicking, she asked the customer to slow down. She said, "I'm sorry, could you please speak a little slower? I want to make sure I understand everything." The customer was surprised but appreciated her honesty. It turned out that the customer wasn't angry with Emma. It was just a misunderstanding about a product, and everything was fine once they cleared things up. This experience taught Emma an important lesson. It's okay to ask for clarification when you don't understand something. It doesn't make confident in her conversations at work. This also improved her listening skills because she got used to slowing down conversations when necessary, allowing her to understand better. She practiced patience with herself. Now let's had just moved to study in an English-speaking country. Mark had taken English classes for years back home, but real-life conversations were a whole different challenge. On his first day of school, Mark was nervous about talking to his classmates. The idea of chatting with strangers confident they would lie, Mark had to work on a group project with some classmates to join the conversation. At first, he just listened, not wanting to make a mistake. But then, one of his classmates, Anna, looked at him and said, "Mark, you have some great ideas. Why don't you tell us what you think about this part of the project?" That moment gave Mark the confidence he needed. He spoke up, shared his thoughts, and his classmates listened carefully. It felt amazing for him. Not only did he improve his speaking, but he also found that the more he participated in discussion, the lesson here is that speaking in English doesn't always have to be perfect. It just has to be real. The more you speak, the better you'll get. Mark learned that he could express himself in English even if it wasn't perfect. And when you speak, your listening skills also improve because you start to notice how people respond to you, how they explain things, and how the conversation flows. Let's now focus on real-world interactions that you might encounter every day. Take the example of going to a coffee shop. You might be ordering a drink or asking for recommendations. At first, you may only know how to order a simple coffee, but after a few visits, you'll start to understand the little details in the conversation. For example, a barista might ask, "Would you like that to go or for here?" You might not know what to go means at first, but once you hear it a couple of times, you'll start to understand it. To go just means taking your drink with you. Practicing these small conversations, building confidence in your ability to understand and speak English in everyday situations. One of my own personal experiences comes from traveling. A few years ago, I visited a country where English wasn't the primary language. However, I was able to get by because I could understand some basic English phrases that I had learned over the years. I remember the first time I went to a local market. I didn't speak the local language fluently, but enough English to ask the vendors questions like, "How much is this?" Or, "Can I have one more?" Just using these simple questions helped me feel more comfortable and connected with the people around me. I also found that many people were more than happy to help me practice my English in return. Another useful way to improve your listening and speaking movies or listening to podcasts in English. These are great tools because they expose you to different accents, speeds of speaking, and informal language. Let me share an example from my own learning journey. A few years ago, I started watching a popular English sitcom. At first, I couldn't understand everything the characters were saying, but after watching a few episodes, I began to catch on. I even started imitating the way they spoke, the tone of their voice, and their facial expressions. Watching these shows not only helped me with my speaking, but also improved my listening skills. I could understand the conversations better, and my pronunciation became clearer. When you watch these types of media, you hear natural, everyday language that will help you in real-life situations. The more you listen, the more you'll notice how words are pronounced in different ways, how some words are shortened, or how contractions are used. For example, in casual speech, what do you want to do often becomes wanna do, and did you eat becomes do you eat. Learning these shortcuts will help you understand what native speakers are saying more easily and make you sound more natural when you speak. Another important aspect of speaking is being able to tell a story or explain something clearly. Whether it's sharing something funny that happened to you or explaining how to do something. Storytelling is a skill that can help you become more confident in English. Let me give you an example. I remember when I had to explain how to make my favorite recipe to a friend. I wasn't sure how to organize my thoughts in English, but I realized that if I broke the process down step by step, it would be easier for both of us. For example, I started with, first, you need to gather all your ingredients, and continued by explaining each step clearly. By practicing storytelling, you can improve your speaking skills and make your conversations more. Remember, learning English is not just about studying grammar or vocabulary, it's about practicing real-life communication. Whether it's talking to a stranger at a coffee shop or explaining something to a friend, every conversation you have is an opportunity to improve. And of course, the more you listen to how people speak, the better your understanding will be. Let's continue exploring how these everyday situations and personal experiences can help you improve your English. It's important to remember that practice makes progress, and each new experience is an opportunity to become better at understanding and speaking English. Take Sarah's experience with her new job as an example. Sarah had been studying English for years, but when she started working at a multinational company, she was nervous about speaking with her coworkers. Most of them spoke fluent English, and she often felt like they were speaking too fast or using words she didn't understand. One day, Sarah was in a meeting with her boss and two colleagues. They were discussing a new project, and Sarah found it hard to follow. Everyone seemed to know exactly what to say and how to say it, but Sarah wasn't sure if she could contribute. Instead of sitting silently, Sarah decided to speak up and ask for clarification. She raised her hand and said, "I'm sorry, could you please explain that last part again?" Her boss smiled and repeated the information more slowly, making sure Sarah understood. After that meeting, Sarah realized something important, and then to stay quiet and risk missing out on key information. Sarah's confidence in asking questions grew, and soon she became an active participant in meetings, contributing her own ideas. What Sarah's experience shows us is that language is not just about knowing vocabulary or grammar, it's also about confidence. Being willing to ask for help or clarification can make a huge difference in how well you understand and speak English. This kind of proactive learning helps you build your skills and prepares you for any real-world situation where communication is key. Let's take another example, this time from a traveler's perspective. John, a friend of mine, traveled to an English-speaking country for the first time. He had always been good at reading English books and listening to podcasts, but he was afraid of speaking in public. When John arrived at the airport, he had to ask for directions to the train station. It was a simple question, but it still made him nervous. He had practiced these types of questions before, but now that he was actually there, he wasn't sure if he would be able to understand the answer. He stepped up to the information desk and said, "Excuse me, could you please tell me how to get to the train station?" The person behind the desk smiled and gave him simple, clear directions. John understood everything perfectly, and he was amazed at how easy it was to follow the instructions. What he realized in that moment was that speaking English doesn't always need to be perfect, it just needs to be effective. The important thing is that he made the effort to communicate. The more John practiced asking questions and engaging in conversations during his trip, the more. Now, let's consider a situation that many people experience. Shopping. Let's say you're in a store and you want to buy something, but you're not sure how to ask for it. In a store, The typical phrases you might need could include, do you have this in a different size? Or, can you tell me how much this costs? You might be nervous at first, but remember that these are simple phrases that can help you in so many situations. The more you practice using them, the more natural it will feel. A jacket. I was looking at it and thought, what if I ask the shop assistant for help, but I make a mistake? But I realized that asking for help was more important than worrying about making a mistake. I walked up to the assistant and asked, do you have this jacket in a smaller size? The assistant smiled and said, let me check for you.
If English isn't your first language like me and you want your writing to reflect your voice, sign up for a free Grammarly account. I like to use their free AI features to help me draft emails, because sometimes the hardest part is getting started. But with their fluency suggestions, I feel confident that my writing is polished, natural, and most importantly, sounds like me. Grammarly Pro can help translate my primary language flawlessly and does it right when I'm writing. Another pro feature that I love is their one-click rewrites. This helps me rephrase entire sentences and paragraphs, because these days, less is more when it comes to your writing. Consider trying Grammarly Pro today to elevate your skills, because using Grammarly helps me to go from English as my second language to my second nature.
She was really helpful and understood exactly what I was asking. This experience reminded me that asking questions, even if you're not completely sure, is a great way to improve your English. And remember, most people are happy to help when you show the effort to communicate. Using real-life experiences like this in your daily routine will help you become more comfortable with speaking and listening in English. Whether you're asking for directions, ordering food, or speaking with a colleague, the more you practice, the more fluent you will become. Listening to native speakers and repeating what they say will improve your pronunciation and understanding of common phrases. This kind of practice is essential to becoming confident in any language. Another powerful way to improve your listening and speaking skills is by making English a part of your daily life. If you're an intermediate learner, you might be able to understand a lot of English already, but now it's time to challenge yourself. One simple thing you can do is to change the language settings on your phone or computer to English. This small change can help you learn new vocabulary and phrases in a context that's relevant to your daily life. If you see a notification that says, "New message from John," you'll be learning vocabulary that's useful for real conversations. You can also practice listening by watching TV shows or movies in English, as I mentioned earlier. This time, try watching shows with subtitles to help improve your comprehension. One of my favorite shows to watch when I was learning English was Friends. It's full of everyday language and funny situations. I'd watch the show with English subtitles and then try to repeat the phrases exactly as the characters said them. After watching a few episodes, I realized that I was starting to speak with the same tone and rhythm as the characters. This helped me sound more natural when I spoke English in real life. Another strategy to improve your listening skills is to listen to podcasts like this one. Listening to podcasts is a great way to hear English spoken in different accents, speeds, and contexts. As you listen, pay attention to how people express themselves, their tone of voice, and how they use phrases in real conversations. Over time, you'll get better at understanding different accents and Let's also talk about a time when I had to explain something important in English. A few years ago, I was helping a friend, Anna, with her resume. She asked me to help her write a job application letter in English, and I had to explain the process step by step. We had to go over things like how to introduce yourself, what to include in the body of the letter, and how to end it politely. I remember feeling nervous because I wanted to make sure the letter sounded. We worked together. I realized how important it was to break everything down into simple steps and explain things clearly. I used the same technique I had learned while practicing my own English. I explained each step in detail and made sure Anna understood. By breaking things down and explaining the process, I was able to communicate more effectively. This helped me improve both my speaking and listening skills because I had to listen closely to Anna's questions and respond with clear answers. Let's continue exploring how these everyday situations and personal experiences can help you improve your English. It's important to remember that practice makes progress, and each new experience is an opportunity to become better at understanding and speaking English. Take Sarah's experience with her new job as an example. Sarah had been studying English for years.
Everyone, welcome to our channel. Is I'm hungry. Thinking in English helps you avoid these mistakes. It also saves time because you don't have to translate everything. Plus, it makes you feel more comfortable when speaking because you don't have to stop and think about every word. Step 1. Start with simple vocabulary. The first step to thinking in English is learning simple words. Look around you right now. What do you see? Maybe a table, a chair, a phone, or a book. Start naming these things in English in your mind. For example, table, chair, phone, book. If you don't know the word for something, check a dictionary, or write it down, and practice saying it in your mind. Step 2. Think about actions in English. Now that you know some words, try to think about actions. What are you doing right now? Maybe you are sitting, watching, or listening. Say these actions in your mind in English. I am sitting, I'm watching, and you do during the day. For example, when you wake up, think, I am waking up, I am brushing my teeth, I'm having breakfast. This helps you connect actions with words and think in English without translating. Step 3. Describe your surroundings. Take a moment to look behind. For example, the walls are white. This step improves your vocabulary and makes your thinking more natural. If you don't know how to describe something, look it up and practice. Step 4. Talk to yourself in English. Talking to yourself might. You don't need to speak loudly. Just say things in your mind. For example, what should I eat for lunch today? I think I'll have a sandwich. I need to go to the store later. Asking yourself questions and answering them in English is a fun and easy way to improve. Step 5. Imagine conversations. Imagining conversations is one of the best ways to train your brain to think in English. It's like creating a mental rehearsal for real life situations. The idea is to simulate interactions that you might experience so you feel more confident and prepared when they happen in reality. Why should you imagine conversations? It prepares you for real life scenarios. When you imagine conversation, phrases like, how much does this cost? Or where can I find the bread section? Makes it easier to speak when you're in a store. It trains your brain to think in English. Your brain starts to associate certain situations with English. Start with simple situations. Think about your daily activities. Imagine how a conversation might happen in these scenarios. At a grocery store, excuse me, where can I find the milk? Do you have any discounts today? At a coffee shop, can I have a cappuccino, please? Is there a seat available near the window? On the phone, hello, can I speak to Mr. Smith? Thank you, I'll call back later. Add more details over time. Once you're comfortable with basic conversations, make them more complex. Imagine responses from the other person and how you would reply. For example, you, can I have a cappuccino, please? Cashier, sure. Would you like it hot or iced? You hot, please. And can you add extra foam? Practice specific vocabulary. If you're preparing for a specific situation, focus on learning the relevant vocabulary. For example, if you're traveling, imagine conversations at the airport. Where is the check-in counter for this airline? Flight to London depart. Imagine emotional conversations. Think about how you might express feelings in English. For example, telling a friend about your day. I had a great day. I visited the park and saw a beautiful sunset. Complimenting someone. You did a great job with this project. Make it a habit. Incorporate it into your daily routine. While walking, cooking, or to imagine conversations. Think about what you would say if someone asked, what are you doing right now? Use visual cues. Look around you for inspiration. If you see a book, imagine asking someone, have you read this book? Is it good? Practice with real situations. After imagining a conversation, try it out in real life. If you're at a store, say what you practiced. Do you have this in a different color? Example practice. Imagine you're meeting a friend for the first time. You, hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Friend, I'm good, thanks. And you, I'm doing well. What do you like to do for fun? Friend, I love hiking. How about you? You, I enjoy cooking. Maybe I can cook something for you one day. Practicing this helps you build confidence and improves your ability to respond naturally in English. Why this works? English. You need to use it every day. Change the language on your phone or computer to English. Watch English videos, read English books, even if they are for beginners. For example, if you're on social media, try reading English captions. If you watch a video, think about what the people are saying. The more you see and hear English, the easier it will be to think in English. Step 7. Be patient. Learning to think in English is a process, and like any skill, it takes time. At first, you might find it slow or even frustrating. You may struggle to find the right words or feel like your thoughts are scattered. But this is completely normal. Don't be discouraged. Every learner goes through this stage, and with practice, you'll improve. Why does it feel difficult at first? Your brain is used to thinking in your native language. When you start thinking in English, you are essentially training your brain to work in a new way. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you may fall or lose balance, but with time, You gain confidence and move faster. How to be patient with yourself. Focus on progress, not perfection. It's important to celebrate small victories. Did you manage to think in English for 5 minutes today? That's progress. Did you learn a new word and use it in your thoughts? Amazing. Understand mistakes are learning opportunities. Making mistakes is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of effort. When you notice a mistake, don't feel bad. Instead, think, I learned something new. For example, if you think, I go to the park instead of I went to the park, it's an opportunity to correct yourself and remember for next time. Keep practicing daily. Just like building muscles in the gym, thinking in English strengthens your brain's ability to process the language. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Celebrate your achievements. Sometimes it's easy to focus on what you can't do yet, but don't forget to appreciate how far you've come. Maybe a month ago, you couldn't form a full sentence in English in your mind, and now you can. Maybe today you thought in English without even realizing it. Encouragement. Your journey matters. Think about this. Every time you practice thinking in English, you're one step closer to fluency. It doesn't matter if the step feels small. What matters is that you are moving forward. Takeaway. Be kind to yourself and enjoy the process. Thinking in English is not a race. It's a journey. With time, patience, and practice, you'll get there. And when you look back, you'll be proud of how much you've grown. Keep going, and remember, you're doing great. Extra tips for thinking in English. Keep a diary in English. Write about your day in a notebook or on your phone. For example, today I went to the park. The weather was sunny. I saw a dog playing with a ball. This helps you practice vocabulary and grammar while thinking in English. Use flashcards. Make flashcards with English words and pictures. Look at the pictures and think of the words in English. Practice with friends. If you have a friend who is learning English, practice together. Talk about your day, ask questions, and help each other think in English. Conclusion. Learning to think in English is a powerful skill. Start small, practice every day, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you practice, the easier it will become. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Share it with your friends who want to learn English. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about an interesting topic. Why is learning English so important? Whether you are a student, a professional, or just someone curious about languages, English can open many doors in your life. By the end, you know why English is more than just a language. It's a global key to opportunities. Let's get started. English is a global language. English is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. It's the official language in over 70 countries, including major nations like the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and South Africa. Additionally, it is often used as a second language in many countries where it is not official, such as India, Germany, and Japan. Why is this important? Because English acts as a bridge. People from different countries and cultures use it to communicate when they don't share a native language. For example, a Brazilian and a Korean meeting at an international conference will likely speak to each other in English. Imagine traveling to a place where you don't speak the local language, such as Japan, Italy, or Turkey. You may not know Japanese, Italian, or Turkish, but English is often the common language in tourist areas, airports, hotels, and restaurants. Here are a few examples. Asking for directions. How do I get to the train station? Ordering food. Can I have a coffee, please? Booking a room. Do you have a single room available? English is also the official language of many global organizations, such as the United Nations, the European Union, and the International Olympic Committee. This means that when important decisions are made or global events are organized, English is the primary language used. Moreover, English is often referred to as the language of business. International companies and industries rely on it for communication between teams in different countries. From emails and reports to meetings and presentations, English is the common ground that connects professionals worldwide. In summary, English is more than just a language. It's a tool that brings people together. Whether you're a traveler, a professional, or simply someone who loves meeting new people, English makes it easier to connect with the world. English is important for education. English plays a crucial role in the world of education. If you dream of studying abroad at prestigious universities like Oxford, Harvard, or Cambridge, knowing English is not just helpful, it's essential. These institutions, along with many others around the globe, conduct their courses and lectures in English. Without a good understanding of a language, it would be difficult to keep up with lessons, complete assignments, or participate in discussions. Access to top universities. Many of the world's most renowned universities are in English-speaking countries, such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. For example, Oxford University in the UK is famous for its centuries of academic excellence. Harvard University in the US offers world-class programs in almost every field. Cambridge University is another iconic institution where English is the medium of instruction. These universities often require students to pass English proficiency tests, such as IELTS or TOEFL, to demonstrate their ability to study in English. Without knowledge of the language, these opportunities may be out of reach. Global knowledge and resources. Even if you're not studying abroad, English is still key to accessing some of the best educational materials. Many groundbreaking research papers, scientific studies, and academic books are written in English. For instance, scientists and researchers often publish their findings in English to reach a global audience. Classic literature, modern novels, and influential essays are frequently available only in English or are best understood in their original language. For students studying in their home country, textbooks in subjects like science, mathematics, and business often include English terms or are written entirely in English. Universities also provide online courses and recorded lectures from top professors worldwide, most of which are in English. Online education. The rise of online education platforms like Coursera, edX, and Khan Academy has made it easier for people to learn from the best institutions without leaving their homes. However, most of the courses on these platforms are in English. For example, you could learn computer programming, data science, or marketing from experts, but a solid grasp of English is necessary to understand and follow the lessons. Opportunities for specialization. English also opens doors to advanced degrees and specialized fields. For example, medicine and healthcare. Many medical journals and case studies are in English. Engineering and technology. Software documentation and programming languages are primarily in English. Business and management. The latest theories and practices often originate from English-speaking countries. A universal skill for students. Even at a basic level, students benefit from learning English to understand terms and concepts that are used internationally, e.g., photosynthesis or economics. Write emails or reports for assignments. Participate in group discussions with peers from different backgrounds. In conclusion, English is a key that unlocks countless educational opportunities. It gives students access to the best universities, the latest research, and the ability to compete in a globalized academic world. Whether you plan to study abroad or excel in your home country, English is an invaluable tool for learning and success. English helps you get a better job. In today's global job market, English is one of the most valuable skills you can have. Many companies, whether local or international, actively seek employees who can communicate in English. This is because English is the universal language of business, connecting people from different countries and cultures. Regardless of your profession, having a good command of English can set you apart from other candidates and open doors to better job opportunities. Why companies value English. In many industries, being able to speak English is no longer just a bonus, it's a requirement. For instance, international companies. Businesses like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft operate across multiple countries, and English is the common language for meetings, emails, and presentations. Employees need English to collaborate with colleagues worldwide. Tourism and hospitality. If you work as a hotel manager, tour guide, or flight attendant, English is essential for communicating with international guests. Medicine and healthcare. Doctors, nurses, and researchers often need English to read medical journals or attend international conferences. Engineering and IT. In technical fields, English is the standard for software development, project management, and technical documentation. Employers know that workers who speak English can handle international clients or business partners, understand global trends and developments, represent the company more effectively on a global stage. English in the workplace. Even in jobs that don't seem connected to English, the language can play a crucial role. For example, customer service. In retail or call center roles, employees who speak English can assist customers from different countries, increasing customer satisfaction. Sales and marketing. If you work in sales, knowing English helps you reach a broader audience and negotiate deals with international buyers. Education. Teachers who speak English can teach the language or use it to access global teaching resources. In many countries, employees who speak English often earn higher salaries than those who don't. This is especially true in roles where you interact with clients, write reports, or present ideas in English. Real-world example. Imagine two job candidates applying for a sales manager position. Candidate A speaks only the local language. Candidate B speaks the local language and English. The employer is more likely to choose candidate B because they can communicate with both local and international clients. Jobs where English is a must. Here are some careers where English is especially important. Tour guide, explaining local history and culture to tourists from around the world. Flight attendant, assisting passengers and ensuring safety on international flights. Software engineer, writing code and collaborating with global teams. Journalist, reporting on international news or interviewing people from other countries. Entrepreneur, running a business with international clients or suppliers. English for career growth. Knowing English isn't just about getting a job, it's about growing in your career. Employees who can speak English are more likely to get promotions to higher positions, be sent on international business trips, lead important projects that involve global partners. For example, if your company wants to expand to another country, you might be chosen to manage the project because you can communicate effectively in English. How to use English at work. Write professional emails. Join online courses or training programs to improve your skills. Watch webinars or conferences to learn from global experts. Network with professionals from different countries. In today's world, knowing English is one of the best ways to boost your career. It gives you access to better jobs, higher salaries, and more opportunities for growth. Whether you're a doctor, engineer, or teacher, English is the key to standing out in the job market. Start improving your English today to take the first step toward a brighter future. English is everywhere on the internet. The internet is a global resource, connecting billions of people, and English is its dominant language. In fact, over half of the websites you visit are written in English. From social media posts to online courses, English plays a central role in how we share and consume information online. If you know English, you unlock access to a vast amount of content and opportunities that can help you learn, grow, and stay informed. Why English is the language of the internet. English is used on major platforms, websites, and apps because it's widely understood across the world. Whether you're reading a blog, watching a YouTube video, or scrolling through Instagram, there's a good chance the content is in English. For example, news websites, leading platforms like BBC, CNN, and the New York Times provide updates on global events in English. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram prioritize English for captions, hashtags, and trends. Educational platforms. Sites like Coursera, Khan Academy, and edX offer courses from top universities in English. Being able to understand English lets you participate in global conversations and learn directly from the world's top resources. English for learning and entertainment. Knowing English gives you access to countless online materials for both fun and education. Videos. You can watch tutorials, documentaries, and movies on YouTube, Netflix, or other platforms. English subtitles, which can help you improve your language skills while enjoying yourself. Podcasts. Listen to experts discuss topics like science, history, or lifestyle, all in English. Courses and tutorials. Platforms like Udemy and Skillshare offer lessons on everything from cooking to coding in English. Many are free or very affordable. For example, if you want to learn how to bake a cake, search for a tutorial on YouTube in English. You'll find step-by-step instructions, new vocabulary, and the chance to improve your listening skills. Access to global communities. The internet connects people from around the world, and English is the bridge. Many online communities, forums, and discussion groups use English as their main language. Gaming communities. If you play online games, knowing English helps you communicate with teammates and enjoy the experience more. Hobby groups. Whether you love photography, gardening, or fitness, you'll find English-speaking groups on platforms like Reddit or Facebook. Professional networking. Sites like LinkedIn help you connect with professionals worldwide, and most of the profiles and posts are in English. Stay updated with global trends. English allows you to stay informed about the latest global news and trends. Technology. Learn about new gadgets, apps, and software updates directly from their creators, as most tech companies release information in English. Health and science. Discover new studies or health advice on sites like WebMD or National Geographic. Pop culture. Follow international celebrities, watch the latest Hollywood movies, or enjoy English songs from artists like Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran. Free resources for learning. The internet is full of free English resources to help you grow. Online dictionaries. Use websites like Cambridge Dictionary to check meanings and pronunciations. Language apps. Apps like Duolingo and Memrise are available for free to help you practice English. Webinars. Attend free live classes or recorded sessions from experts in any field. English for career and personal growth. Understanding English helps you gain skills that can improve your job prospects and personal development. For example, learn programming languages like Python or Java through English tutorials. Access motivational videos or business advice from global leaders. Enhance your resume by taking free certifications in English from platforms like Google or Microsoft. Real-world example. Imagine you want to learn about climate change. If you only understand your native language, your options might be limited to local websites or translations. But if you know English, you can explore global sources like NASA's website, research papers, or talks from experts worldwide. How to use the internet to practice English. If you already know some English, you can use the internet to practice every day. Change your settings. Switch the language on your phone, apps, and social media accounts to English. Follow English pages. Subscribe to channels or pages that share content in English, such as recipe videos, travel blogs, or fitness tips. Join English forums. Participate in discussions on platforms like Quora or Reddit to practice reading and writing. The internet is a powerful tool, and English is the key to unlocking its full potential. From learning new skills to staying informed, Knowing English helps you make the most of the online world. Start using English on the internet today, and you'll discover endless opportunities to grow and succeed. English makes travel easier. Traveling to new places is exciting, but it can also be challenging if you don't speak the local language. That's where English comes to the rescue. Known as the global language, English is widely used in the travel industry, making it your best companion when exploring the world. From airports to hotels and restaurants, English bridges the communication gap and helps you navigate unfamiliar places with confidence. Why English is the travel language? English is the default language in many international locations. Even in countries where English isn't the first language, people working in tourism, such as hotel staff, airport workers, and taxi drivers, often speak basic English. This means you can use it to ask questions, understand directions, and solve problems during your trip. For example, at the airport, most signs, announcements, and boarding passes are in English, making it easier to find your gate or understand security instructions. In hotels, staff often communicate with guests in English, whether you're checking in, asking for room service, or requesting extra towels. In restaurants, menus frequently include English translations, especially in tourist areas, so you can choose your meals without confusion. Everyday scenarios where English helps. When you travel, many situations require clear communication. Knowing English ensures you can handle them easily. Here are some examples. At the airport, asking for directions. Excuse me, where is gate 25? Clarifying flight information. Is my flight on time? At a hotel, requesting amenities. Can I have extra pillows? Asking for information. What time is breakfast? I'll have the grilled chicken.
Crosswalk.